to LaFleur Arms. This is Dragon 6 Golf. Welcome to another weapons clean. Today I'm going to clean this 40 caliber subcompact Beretta. It is a PX4 Storm. Thanks for watching. Alright, so this is actually my wife's handgun. I did purchase it for her, but she wanted something that was small but powerful. I did some research and this weapon was found to be very, very good as long as it's maintained. So like I said, this is 40 caliber subcompact, and subcompact is good because you can carry it. However, I will say it is a bit heavy. This is a sturdy, heavy weapon, which I like, and it feels really balanced in your hand. But when you have it on your hip for a while, you know it's there. May not be a bad thing, but just something to think about if you're planning to purchase something like this. So subcompact comes with a really short barrel, which is good for close range, not so much for long range engagements. So this weapon, first thing I'm going to do is make sure it's clear. I'm going to drop this magazine, which you depress this button here. Magazine's empty. Gonna charge it to the rear and lock it to the rear, and you can see there's nothing in there, no bullets. So if you didn't catch that, right here on both sides of the weapon there's a lever here, which is more prominent than the last video I had, the Smith & Wesson. It's ambidextrous. In other words, you can use it both left-handed or right-handed. Pretty handy, and they can drop it there. So just like any other weapon, if the magazine's in and it's empty, when you charge it to the rear, it will lock to the rear. It's designed to do that, so that way when you drop the magazine, you put another one in, you can charge it forward. Now, just like before, I still prefer dropping it with my thumb, but you can also drop it by charging it back. No, that has not changed. Now, where this weapon, another reason why I chose it for my wife, it has some good safety features. So first of all, if this has a hammer, and I'll go to that later, but if the safety's on, you can tell the safety's off because it shows red. Safety's on. So even if you pull the hammer and let it go, nothing will happen, because if you look back here, safety's off. Turn the safety on, and it allows you access where the hammer is going to hit the firing pin. So with safety on, you cannot hit the firing pin whatsoever. Another thing about weapons with the hammer is most of them have a single action trigger or a dual action trigger. And what does that mean? So usually for your first round, your first time you cock it back, excuse me, and it's on, it's in the fire mode, the hammer will stay back, see? And this allows you to do the single action trigger, and it's very light pull. It's easy to stay on target and easy to pull. But if you put the magazine in and you don't cock it, it comes with a double action trigger. So first pull, you hear that click, and you have to pull more pressure, fire. But at this point, the weapon will charge the rear, obviously, because it fired a round, and the hammer stays back. So every round after that point will be single action trigger. All right, so I'm gonna put it back on safe. So to pull this weapon apart, it's the same, but once I get it apart, you'll see this is a little different than some other weapons. It's a little bit more difficult if you're not used to it. This may not be good for a first purchase, but you get used to it. So here on both sides of the gun, of the pistol, you have a little notch right there, and one on the other side there too. So when you charge the weapon to the rear, you pull this down. Let me try to do that, like pull it to the rear with one hand, pull it down, and boom. Now you notice again, I'm holding the weapon a certain kind of way. I'll show you why in a little bit. But this is the receiver, and the hammer and all this trigger mechanism stays here. I have not cleaned it in a while, so this is a good video for that. Now in this part, you have your slide, which has inside has the firing pin, which I'm not going to take out. I can take it out, but I'm not going to take it out for this video. You really shouldn't do that unless you have to. And then here where the spring's at, this Beretta has a unique system. And so it has a housing for the spring. So when I take off this housing, the spring is in the housing. So you can take the spring out like that. Now you gotta be careful because it's a little fragile, as you can see, so you can break that easily. Now, I guess they know this is a thing, so if you need replacement parts, it's actually pretty easy to get. And there's a spring. As you can see, the front, where the front of the barrel goes, that goes there. And this little pin goes inside like that. Now this is a little bit interesting. On this weapon, when you fire it and the bullet comes out and it ejects the casing, this barrel actually turns with that action. So when you put it together, you have to make sure it's just like that. And if you see on this part, it's got a notch there. That notch actually fits in there. So that's part of the difference with most other handguns. So this comes out the same. Just kind of let it drop and you pull it out. See, a subcompact, the slide will be full because the barrel is only this long. And like I said, the shorter the barrel, the less accurate the weapon is. Now on this one, see if I can show you. Excuse me. The rifling on this one, it has a lot of rifling, which gives it a little bit more accuracy. And the rifling again causes the bullet to spin as it comes out the barrel. And since this is such a short barrel, I suppose their intent was give it more rifling so that way the bullet will spin and make it more accurate for the size. All right, and in case you forgot, that's what I use. Hops. So the first part, I'm just gonna wipe down and kind of clean off the slide. Do the outside first. I've never had this weapon misfire, freeze up, or anything like that. And also, part of that is also the ammunition you use. I use ammunition that store-bought, not, I know where the source is, and make sure you get the right kind of ammunition. So this is a 40 Smith & Wesson for ammunition. You gotta make sure when you buy a 40 caliber round that it's Smith & Wesson. And the reason for that, bullets are made specific to the type of weapon. So the bullet that fits in a revolver will not shoot out of a semi-automatic pistol because the way it's made, the bullet itself, the casing. Alright. So I hope you guys enjoy these videos. Kind of hard not to make it boring, but I like the way that looks now. Now, back in the Army days, this would not be acceptable, but my own private collection, so as long as I know it's functional, it doesn't have to be perfect for me. To each his own. Now, just a reminder, after you go to the range, you should maintain this vehicle just like this vehicle. You should maintain this weapon just as I'm doing. And if you haven't fired it in a while and you plan to go to the range or you plan to take it out for carry, I would do the same to make sure it's functional. So I'm gonna wipe off the excess oil. I'll leave a little bit on there. You can't really tell, but see, it's a little bit shiny and that's fine. Next part I'm going to clean is spring, and I don't know what you call this, spring mechanism. I'm not going to put any oil on there because it really doesn't need it. I'm just going to make sure I wipe it down. While I'm wiping it down and inspecting it, make sure the spring is still good. It doesn't have any kinks. It does have a little bit of carbon on there, but besides that, it looks pretty well. Now on this part, I am going to put a little bit of oil on. This part up here is plastic, and this part back here is metal. So I'm going to just do it on the metal part. And with any excess oil I have, I'm also going to lubricate the plastic part just a little bit. So this right here is important to lubricate because this is the part that meets the barrel, and both parts of metal. So you got to remember, anytime you got metal on metal, you want some good lubrication. So for this one, I'm going to leave it a little bit wet. Now again, I'm not an expert when it comes to these weapons. I'm a subject matter expert because I've used weapons in both the Army, growing up, and also I did use it in combat situations. So I call myself a subject matter expert. Okay, that part's good. Before I get to the barrel, let's clean the receiver. The receiver, like I said, excuse me, is mostly plastic or polymer. However, it does have some metal parts. So I'm just gonna clean that out a little bit. As you can see, some cleaning there. And put a little bit of oil on that part, but not much. Again, a little bit goes a long way. Also, I'm gonna use that same finger I have with the oil and just do inside where the magazine housing is. You can reach it from the, you can reach that from the top as well. I'm gonna make sure, cock this to the back. I'm gonna make sure that's looped up a little bit. Now there are some small parts here. Just be careful with that. Don't, if you take it out on accident, it's gonna be a pain to put back in as possible, but if you do that, you're in a little bit of trouble there. Okay, so I'm gonna let, there you go. Now this part, the barrel, this is a little bit, sad to say, is dirty. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the outside part of it first. Again, because the barrel does do metal to metal, I'm gonna leave it just a little bit more oil than I usually would. So after I put this together, I'm going to show you the kind of functions check, which is similar to what the M9 Beretta that we had in the Army at the time of when I was in service. Kind of functions check, very similar. Again, it's the same brand weapon. It's got the same safety features. It's just a 9mm, which was a full-size weapon, way more accurate. Just as dependable, and of course the M9 is all metal, including the housing. Okay, so the outside is looking good. So with the rifling, as you can see, it's a little bit dirty there. So with my brush, I'm going to just brush it through. I'm gonna do it all the way through. No lube on this, it's just to get particles out. Keeps the barrel fresh. And when I say the particles, sometimes you get some carbon scoring inside the rifling of the barrel. So you want to make sure that's clear. Alright, so I'm also going to lubricate the inside, so I take this other type of, now you can use this, or you can use the little squares of paper with the eyelet. Today I'm going to use this type. I don't have a preference, just want to use something for the video. It's a little bit different. So I'm going to lay thin coats of oil all through the thing. It's made out of cotton, and I'm just gonna do like that. And as you can see, it's still a little bit dirty, so I'm gonna keep passing it through. All right, so let's, yep, that looks good. Let's see if we can see that. Looks pretty good to me. All right, so it's got a little bit excess oil still. Take that off. All right, just like with the other weapon, I'm going to take the magazine and inspect it. The spring is still pretty fresh. You can replace the spring if you need to. This weapon comes with 2 magazines. Each magazine holds 12. There's a lot of aftermarket stuff you can buy here, depending on what state you live in. Texas, you can buy any size magazine you want. So I could go out right now and purchase like a 30 round if it's available. But I usually stay with stock. I may get an extended magazine, which would hold 15. and the extension would be noticeable, but not too much. It would stick out a little bit more than that, and that would stick out the bottom of the handgun. But for now, when you have the magazine in there, it's all even. So I'm just gonna wipe it down slightly. Inspection looks pretty good. I feel like it's still what we'd call serviceable. Got a little bit of wear and tear on it. You really can't see it on the video, but when I do go down range, I drop my mags. I don't hold them. I drop them like if I was in a rush to reload the next one. It's just the way I am. All right, so to put it back together, we're gonna do the opposite. Start with the slide. Remember, I told you right here is where that little piece goes from here. So you gotta make sure when you put the barrel in, they orientate it just like that, and it'll twist, you see? See? So you want it just like that. And that little knuckle will be flush to that side. All right, so then you take your spring in the housing, the pointy part goes right here. And it's gonna feel a bit funny because it doesn't really snap in there. It's weird, but that's the way it works. See, I'm having difficulty with it too. Now you can hold the barrel in place from here, but when you do that, it kind of moves it around. So again, I would not recommend this for novice users, for first time handgun users. There, snap right in. So I'm gonna hold it just like this so I can flip it around, and you just slide the receiver back on the little slides here. It's a machine, it'll slide right back in, you charge it, and there. Okay, so we have the weapon all cleaned up, it's all together. Let's do a quick functions check. So first thing you're gonna do is put the magazine in, and you're gonna make sure it charges to the back without holding the mechanism to make the slide stick. And it does, so that passes. Drop the mag, push and hold the trigger, you release it forward, and then you release, you should hear a click. Oh, you don't. I messed up. Didn't have the fire on. Let's do that again. Drop the mag. Clip. Okay, so this part you should single pull the trigger, and that works. Now on this you should try your double action. That works. Now you put your fire on safe. Nothing happens to the hammer. The hammer does not stay back. Your function check is complete. There is your clean Beretta. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and please share my video. Dragon 6 Golf out.